It's all very friendly. That's what President Trump said today about U.S. talks with Iran, about reopening the Strait of Hormuz, which we should note was not the cause of the war, but is now quite obviously its principal irritant, economically and strategically. Trump also denied today the U.S. is running low on munitions and militarily useful targets in the battle with Iran over the Strait of Hormuz. This despite extensive reporting that both of those are the cause of the current pause in hostilities. No wonder, then, that 69% of those surveyed by CBS News say they are not getting a clear understanding, that's a direct quote, of the war or the future of the Strait. Also, 67% said the war should end now. 33% said it should continue until Iran gives up more. Overall, 61% said they disapprove of Trump's very decision to go to war in the first place. And 60% told us that when Trump describes what's happening in the war, he makes things sound, quote, better than they really are, unquote. Add it all up, you get 65% telling us they disapprove of Trump's handling of the war. And that number matches exactly Trump's disapproval rating on his handling of the economy. As for Trump's handling of inflation, well, it's even worse. 71% disapprove. Even immigration is a downer for Trump. 58% currently disapprove of his handling. This sour national mood has one more expression. 38% of those surveyed said things in America today are going very badly. 28% said somewhat badly. Added up, that's 66%, exactly two-thirds of those surveyed who believe things are not well in America. Not well at all. This, then, is the political backdrop, the mood music, if you will, of the coming midterms. And it's why Trump, as you see there, was in Michigan today telling people there at his rally that the economy is booming, inflation is down, and all is not only well, but better than ever. If voters decide this cheery economic messaging is infected with the same better than they really are defect as Trump's war commentary, it will be a very difficult GOP midterm indeed, because the issue at the crux of all this may not be affordability. It may well be credibility. Joining us with more on the war with Iran and Trump's economic revving of the rhetorical engines, we turn to Weijia Jiang in the North Lawn of the White House. So, Weijia, a lot going on in the region today, not necessarily because of U.S. airstrikes, but other things happening.
Well, Major, you're right in that those strikes were finally halted after 13 consecutive days of back and forth between the U.S. and Iran. And now the president says that he is making space for diplomatic talks to resume. He says that there will both be indirect and direct talks with Iran to try to sort out a peace deal and to come to some sort of agreement about the Strait of Hormuz, although Iran, Major, today says something different. They said that there are no negotiations ongoing with the U.S. at this time and that they are just talking to Oman about the strait. And so perhaps that is one reason why Americans may be confused, because there does seem to be a consistent disconnect between what the president says and what Iran says. But again, he and his advisors insist that this is another chance for diplomacy and, quote, we'll see what happens as these talks resume. Major.
And there was also reporting over the weekend that the president was advised two things. One, that the United States, if it was going to strike targets along the Strait of Hormuz, was essentially running out of useful targets anymore, and that there were some concerns about availability now in the near future of U.S. munitions. On Air Force One today, the president batted both of those away.
That's right, Major. Publicly, he is trying to reassure the public that that's not the case, that he is, in fact, still in the driver's seat when it comes to military action, and that it has nothing to do with supply. But also, at the same time, his administration is asking for tens of billions of dollars for the war in Iran, and in part to restock those munitions, because the president himself talks at length about how much damage he has done to Iran's military capability. Well, that doesn't just happen with no weapons. Obviously, there's been a lot of stockpiles that have been used. And our reporting also is that there is some concern about replenishing those. But the president right now is not only trying to contain this conflict in Iran, he is trying to score points in the war of public messaging, Major. And as our new poll shows, it's not going that well for him because it is muddled with other facts that, whether that has to do with munitions or facts about how Americans are feeling about the economy and when they spend money versus what the president is saying.
Weijia Jiang, North Lawn of the White House, thank you so very much.